Hello, my friend. Welcome to How to Like Your Life, a brain training podcast for mindset transformation. I am your host, Emily Lies. I'm a certified hypnotherapist and brain training specialist here to teach you the magic and the science of brain training and self-hypnosis to not only transform your life, but also like your life. So let's dive in. Today, we're talking about your future self. This is the version of you in the future who has the life that you want, who has the thoughts, the feelings, the behaviors, the circumstances that you deeply desire. And while we may not achieve every single thing on our bucket list or on the list of things we want to quote unquote manifest into our lives, we can certainly utilize the idea of this future self to improve how we're feeling now and bring us much, much closer to that life that we want. So I want you to ask yourself, how often do you find yourself thinking thoughts like, I will be so happy when I make 6 figures, or I will feel so confident when I have a life partner. I will finally feel relaxed when I can take that vacation. I'll feel motivated when I have a job that I love, right? All of these questions of I'll feel blank when this future thing comes into my life. And all of these qualities, experiences, and feelings that you're identifying belong to your future self. So your future self is confident, happy, relaxed, motivated, etc. But the wonderful news that most people don't realize is that you don't have to wait until your circumstances are perfect to give yourself permission to feel those things, to embody that person that believes in yourself, that feels good, that likes your life. We think that all these circumstances will bring us to that empowered, confident, strong version of us. But in reality, when we find ways to embody those qualities of the person we'd like to become before we reach those goals, before we get to those circumstances, it actually makes it far easier for those circumstances to fall into place because we're embracing the inner strengths that will help us get there. So let's talk about how you can channel that future self today and start embracing that person, your favorite version of you, so that you can actually feel better sooner. The main approach or technique that I want to share with you is something called future self journaling. I've been using this practice for years and years. There's a lot of different strategies and techniques that people teach. Some are more on the spiritual manifestation side of things, but I want to take you through my technique that I've developed that pulls from research in neuroscience and psychology. So this is not just some mystical thing that is trying to call something into the universe. This is quite literally reprogramming your mind, and it's rooted in science. The first step of this process is to start bringing your future to life. Get out a journal or a notebook, and before you write anything down on paper, take a few minutes to get comfy, take a couple of deep breaths, calm your body down, and then visualize what you want your life to look like. Imagine that everything has gone as well as it possibly could for you from this moment forward, and visualize yourself in your dream life, your ideal life, having the experiences that you want, your dream career, your dream home. Imagine yourself surrounded by people you admire. You're in really healthy, good, uplifting relationships. You're doing things that bring you joy, that give you a sense of purpose, whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't matter if it's 6 months from now, if it's 5 years from now, if it's 20 years from now, but imagine your best possible self in your best possible future life and let yourself really make it vivid. So focus on the details, the things that you see. Notice where you are, the smells that you can smell, the feelings that you have in your physical body. What does it feel like to be your healthy, strong future self? The more detail you give it, the more it's going to become real in your mind, because the subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. So when you really embrace this imagery, your brain thinks that it's happening. So spend as much time as you'd like really daydreaming about what it is that you want and what it feels like to be that person. That's really the most important part. What does it feel like to have those experiences, to be that confident version of yourself. What qualities about yourself do you really like in those circumstances? What emotions do you feel? What do you value more than anything? How does it feel to release your stress and be certain about yourself? And once you've got those feelings conjured, you can open your eyes and start writing. So the writing portion really solidifies the experiences that you're having. And I would encourage you to just describe what you visualized in the present tense as though it's happening. So you can write down something like, I am whatever age you are in your visualization. Let's say I'm 40 years old. I am a New York Times bestselling author. And I wake up in the morning feeling XYZ. I am doing these things. I'm surrounded by these people. I see this. I hear this. I smell this. Start journaling about what you just experienced in your mind and write out a story in the present tense of what it feels like to live that life and have a day in the life of your future self. I would definitely recommend physically writing this down because it accesses different centers of the brain compared to when you're typing or when you're using your phone. It's definitely most effective to do that. You could also open a voice memo and speak it aloud to yourself. But really describe this future self. What are the thoughts you're having, the feelings you're experiencing, the habits and behaviors that you have in this future life? And once you have a lot of clarity on that, you can move on to step 2 of this little journaling practice, which is expressing gratitude for your future self. So similarly to explaining and describing the life that you just visualized, you're now going to write down a series of gratitude statements for the parts of your life that you really want, or the parts of your future self that you really want to embody. So for me, for example, I write things like, I am so grateful that I have a New York Times bestselling book. I am grateful that I have the #1 podcast in self-improvement in the world. I am grateful to be a TED Talk speaker. I'm grateful for all of the incredible people that I connect with in my job. I'm grateful to make such a huge impact in people's lives. I'm grateful that my body is healthy and strong. I'm grateful for my confidence and my motivation and my certainty in myself. I'm grateful for the amazing community of friends that I have built in this city. I am grateful for my partner who makes me laugh every day and who I get to share adventures with. I'm grateful for my home that is spacious and inspiring and colorful, and so on and so forth. You can also lean more into the qualities that you want to embrace, the thoughts, the feelings, the habits that your future self has. And the reason why we do this through gratitude and not just writing down, I have this, my life looks like this, and not just turning it into an affirmation, is because gratitude elicits an emotion, and emotions happen in the present moment. So when you express gratitude for something that happens in the future, it helps your brain to contextualize that possible scenario or circumstance or future trait as though you already have it, because gratitude is in the present. It makes the qualities and experiences of your future self feel attainable and accessible. And because gratitude is a positive emotion that calms the nervous system, that releases fear, this is regulating your nervous system in the context of the things that you want. So how many times have you thought about your goals and gotten stressed about all of the stuff you have to do to get there, right? It's easy to be stressed about the future. So by embracing a sense of gratitude for something that you might otherwise feel resistance or stress or fear or imposter syndrome about, it's forming a new association in your mind. It's teaching your brain that this future self feels good, that this future circumstance is rewarding, that it's accessible to you, that it's not scary. And so it's kind of softening the whole experience. It's creating a sense of ease around all of those things that you really deeply want. I'd like to quickly interrupt this episode to share a bit about how you can make it easier to like your life using my hypnosis app, Dawdle. What you might not know is that every single episode of this How to Like Your Life podcast is paired with a recommended guided hypnosis session on the Dawdle app to help you enhance the practices that we're talking about here so you don't have to figure it out all on your own. On the app, you'll also find tons and tons of full-length hypnosis sessions to help you in so many areas of your life, including relaxation, stress relief, focus, motivation, joy, confidence, health and healing, sleep, getting in touch with your goals, and so much more. There's also a whole library of eyes open hypnosis for you to listen to while you're doing things actively, while walking, while showering. There's also a library of mood shifters, which are practices that are under 5 minutes, designed to help you get out of a stress response fast and feel better quickly. So in this podcast, I'll teach you how to like your life, and on Dawdle, it'll become a very easy task. So make sure to try out Dawdle for free for 7 days, and you can find the download links in the show notes. Now let's get back to the episode. Now, the beautiful and crazy and very cool thing that starts to happen is when you repeat this practice each day, when you visualize your goals, or you journal about your goals and then you express gratitude for those things in the future, you start to become that future self. You are familiarizing your brain with what it feels like to be that person. I say this in nearly every episode, but the subconscious mind is really the part of the brain that we're working with. It's responsible for our emotions, our habits, our thought processes, our beliefs, our coping mechanisms, our desires, and so much more. It really takes up 95% of our brain function. And the subconscious mind learns from experiences. More than knowledge, more than words, it learns from the experiences that we have. And so in this practice, what you're doing is you're giving yourself an experience of what it's like to be that future self, what it feels like to be endlessly grateful for the success that is inevitable in your future, what it feels like to be confident and certain and at ease when you think about your goals. And that's really the root of it. Your future self is at ease and at peace with your life. So you have this new baseline of how your future self feels about your experiences, and you can start to bring that into your daily life. And that's where it becomes really practical and really transformative in the way that you start to change your thought processes, your choices, your feelings. Because when you're living your life, you can start to ask yourself, how would my future self respond to this experience? Or how would my future self face this challenge? How would my future self show up today? What thoughts would I have? What feelings would I have? What choices would I make? What behaviors would I engage in? And you have a reference point of what you want to think, feel, and behave because you have been mentally rehearsing it. You've been putting your focused attention on those inner strengths and inner resources that are already a part of you, by the way. This is already who you are at your core, but you're pulling them out to the surface. You're making it accessible to you. So when you use this thought experiment or little exercise to change how you respond today, you already know what it feels like. Your brain has those experiences, so we can pull them out. So let's look at some different examples of how that can apply in daily life in different realms. For example, I am recovering from surgery for endometriosis. I'm in my 6th month of recovery. I'm still having some pain. Things are getting better, but it is a long process. It was an intense procedure. And it's really frustrating when things do still hurt or when they get in the way of my daily life. So I can embody this future self and ask myself, how does my future healthy self feel about this time in my life? Or what does my future self think about the rate of this recovery? You know, my present moment self is frustrated and tired and angry and confused why it's taking so long, but my future healthy self, the version of me that is past this point in my life, would look back on this recovery with compassion. I would thank my body for all the work that it's doing to heal, to feel better, to repair after such an intense life event. I would give myself permission to take things slow because my body's doing a lot of work, right? And so it's kind of helping me tap into this wiser self, this version of me that really cares about my body and my well-being. And I can start to shift those thoughts in a really genuine way. It's not gaslighting myself into thinking, oh, I shouldn't be frustrated, I should be grateful. It's just considering, what would it feel like to offer myself more compassion right now? And I'm allowed to be frustrated. I'm allowed to be angry and tired, but adding this other perspective can soften the intensity of that experience and remind my brain that it now has a new way, even a new identity to approach these challenges from. So looking at a career example, I just entirely revamped my 6-week course, Hypnotic Empowerment. It was months and months and months in the making of redoing this program. And a lot of the time I got really stressed about it. And I know that that's counterintuitive to be stressed out about a program that is designed to help people feel not stressed and more confident about the things they're doing. But alas, it was a challenge for me. And so as I was building this program, whenever I got frustrated, I could ask myself, how would my future self feel about this program and about this process? Because my future self is done with the program. Let's say it's a couple years ahead, it's wildly successful. So my future self would look at this process and think, how amazing is it that I am building something that is going to help so many people? How can I pour more love and intention and care into the process of building this? And on top of that, how can I practice what I preach? How can I take the tools that I share in that course and apply them so that I can like my life as I'm building this process, right? So it's a really great way to check in with yourself and choose a different attitude, choose a different perspective and a different approach to things that would otherwise be really challenging or really hard. And this is not about gaslighting. Like I said, this is not about pretending like the thing isn't hard at all. It's about acknowledging that challenge and approaching it by really tapping into your inner wisdom, finding ways to offer yourself more care, more compassion, more patience, more strength as you're dealing with whatever hard thing it is that you're facing. Maybe you are preparing for a job interview and you're really nervous about it. You can ask yourself, how would my future self, my confident, badass future self, show up in this job interview? That version of you would be standing tall. That version of you would be so excited to share your strengths and your gifts with the person interviewing you. You would be excited to connect with someone and have an opportunity to change your life, because that's ultimately what job interviews do. They lead to a new path in your life. You can apply this to everything and anything to really help you change how you feel and become that confident version of you, because when you approach life as your future self, you're more likely to succeed, right? If you walk into that job interview feeling confident and good about yourself and open and excited, the person interviewing you is going to see that. You're going to be less stressed and more focused. If I build my program from a place of joy and care, that energy is going to come through in the videos. I'm going to feel more proud of what I've created. And for my health, if I really take the time to slow down and appreciate my body for all the work that it's doing, I'm going to be calming my nervous system because I'm not as stressed about it. I'm not resisting the discomfort and healing sensations, which means my body has more energy to heal. But all of this starts with the first step, and that is getting in touch with who your future self is and being grateful for those experiences that have yet to come into your life. So here's how I recommend implementing this into your life. There's a longer version of this practice and a shorter version, so I'm going to give you some options here. If you want to really take a deep dive into this, I would highly recommend doing steps 1 and 2 every single morning. And it really only takes about 10 or 15 minutes. But right when you wake up, ideally while you're still in bed, while you're in that kind of hazy in-between waking and sleeping state, that is when your brain is in a natural hypnotic trance. So your brain is way more likely to take on the new suggestions that you're offering it So when you wake up, as close to waking as possible, or anytime that you're able to in the day, begin by taking some deep breaths, close your eyes, and mentally rehearse your dream life. Imagine living the life that you've always wanted in the future and embody that future self. Visualize it intensely and vividly until you are kind of feeling the feelings of that future self now. Once you go through this process, which can take anywhere from 1 minute to 15 or 20 minutes, depending on how much you want to actually visualize, then get out a notebook and write down the aspects of your future life and your future self that you're grateful for in the present tense. So saying, I'm grateful for blank over and over and over again. Continuing to complete that sentence. I'm grateful for my dream home. I am grateful for this specific job. I'm grateful for this experience that I'm visualizing. I'm grateful for making this amount of money. I'm grateful for having time to do these specific hobbies. Spend a few minutes doing that. And then as a bonus, you could think about the day ahead, the things that you're going to have to be doing, the tasks that you have to complete, and proactively ask yourself, how would my future self face the day? How would my future self navigate the things that I have to do? How would my future self stay motivated, stay focused, continue to feel good? And you could take it a step further and mentally rehearse going through the tasks of the day, embodying this person, embodying this version of you that is free of the limitations that used to hold you back. And the very cool thing is that the brain has no choice but to change if we give it new experiences. It's not a quick fix, but if you repeatedly do practices like this each day, you're going to start feeling a profound shift in the way that you approach your daily life. You're going to find it easier to work toward your goals and take action and handle hard things from a place of certainty. It's honestly pretty amazing. And of course, we have this inner critic that causes us to doubt ourselves or resist these new possibilities for our future when we're imagining things going well. But the more you do this, the more that inner critic is going to start to diminish. And it can be a lot easier to go through practices like this when it's guided. It gives us something to focus on and really helps us amplify the good feelings that come from this imagery, which is why this podcast is always connected to my hypnosis app, Dawdle. So in the app for this episode specifically, you will find a guided hypnotic journaling practice, which will bring you into a sort of hypnotic trance. It will help you relax your mind and body. It'll give you that guided visualization of your goals, and then also walk you through some of the journaling prompts to go through this full practice. So you don't have to do it all on your own. I highly suggest checking that out on the Dawdle app. It's linked in the show notes. And if you don't have a ton of time in your days, you can instead visualize your goals once or twice a week, and then in your daily routine in the mornings, just write down, I'm grateful for XYZ. Spend a minute writing down this list of gratitude for your future. And be sure to include the inner strengths and qualities of your future self that you want to carry into your day to day. So if you have something challenging coming up, you can say, I'm grateful for my confidence. I'm grateful for my patience. I'm grateful for my tenacity. And it's a great way to bring that to the forefront of your mind before you start everything that you have to do in your day. But the more you connect these statements of gratitude with that actual imagery of your future, the more powerful this is going to be. Because remember, the brain learns from experience more than just words. So it's going to turn up the volume on that sense of gratitude and speed up the changes that you want to make. Now, if you are loving the things that you're learning in this podcast, and you are ready to really create lasting change in your brain and you want some guidance with that, I do have some additional resources for you. I would highly suggest checking out my Subconscious Reset Masterclass. It is entirely free. It's an hour-long workshop that will bring you through the practices that help you get out of your own way and reset your subconscious mind to reduce your stress, to boost your confidence, to really accelerate toward your goals. It lays such an incredible foundation. And in that workshop that you can access, I'll also take you through a full-length guided hypnosis session. It's really, really full of a ton of great tools and strategies. And I have also just revamped and relaunched my 6-week course, Hypnotic Empowerment, which is now Hypnotic Empowerment 2.0, that is available for access today. This course is a deep dive into the process of becoming your future self. It really is. It'll take you through the barriers that are keeping you stuck and help you reprogram them so you will learn how to significantly reduce your stress, change the way that you respond to challenges in your life, prime your brain to enjoy more of the things that you're experiencing. You'll learn how to boost your confidence and celebrate yourself, and then really get in touch with the identity of your future self. It is a continuation of this conversation that we just had in this episode, and so much more. You will learn how to take action on your goals and get really clear on what it is you want, and you'll have everything that you need to catapult yourself from this life that you're living into the life that you want to be living. There's video lessons each week, there's guided hypnosis sessions, there's journaling prompts, and it truly is a brain training intensive where I will be metaphorically holding your hand step by step as you change your brain. So if you're interested in taking a deep dive, you can find the Hypnotic Empowerment 2.0 program in the show notes, as well as the Subconscious Reset Masterclass. And as you are applying these tools of really embodying your future self, really embracing the things that we talked about today, I would love to hear what that felt like for you, what that looks like for you. So please feel free to share about this experience, share about the things that you've really latched onto from this episode on your Instagram stories, and tag me. If you want this podcast to reach more and more people, I would so appreciate if you could rate and review this show. Reviews are so unbelievably important in helping podcasts grow and reach more people so that these resources, these free resources, can become more accessible to more and more people. It really is my mission to help as many people on this planet learn that they can like their lives. You can like your life. You can change your brain. You can feel so unbelievably good about yourself. You can embrace joy. You can get through hard things, and all of that power is already within you. I know it sounds corny, but it's really, really true. You are the one that's capable of changing your own brain. I can't do it for you. I can offer you tools and strategies, but you are the one that can change your own life. I hope that you have an absolutely amazing week. It's been wonderful chatting with you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, friend.